I hope all of you are fine today. I am also fine with the grace of Almighty Lord. Dear learners, I hope all of you are following the rules of health and all of you are wearing masks at the time of going outside. Be careful from COVID-19. I hope all of you are following the rules of how to be safe and sound. Try to always stay at home. If you have an emergency task to go out, then you must keep and wear mask properly. And wash your hands due times. And try to always be safe and sound. Dear learners, in the last sessions, I gave you a class on completing sentence. Today, I am also going to give you a class on completing sentence. It is the second part of completing sentence of my class. I hope you are always practicing staying at home to complete the completing sentence. Though all of the schools are remain closed, but you should not close your study. You should continue study staying home. Dear learner, if you do not continue your studies, you will have to face some problem in future. So, from your own shape, you should continue your study and practice. And for these reasons, we are going to give you class every day to make you understand our lessons. Please follow the class and practice it. In these lessons, you can say that I am going to give you our rules on completing sentence. Here you can see that as soon as I saw him, after as soon as I have used here past simple sentence, no sooner had than past, this is past perfect sentence. Hardly had, if you have then past perfect sentence. Scarcely had, then it's also past perfect sentence. That after as soon as, past form of verbs. So no sooner had, then past participle form of verb. Hardly had, then past participle form of verbs. Scarcely had, then past participle form of verbs. Dear learners, listen to me carefully. If you have no sooner had, then you will have use your comma. The next clause will be in past indefinite tense. As soon as I saw him, I called him. You can see here I have used here past indefinite tense after as soon as. And after no sooner had, you will have to use your when or before then past indefinite tense. No sooner had I seen him when or before I called him. So after no sooner had, I have used here when or before. You can use here when or before, then you will have to use past indefinite tense or past simple tense. It is like as soon as, always, we use here past indefinite tense, and here also used past indefinite tense. And after hardly had, then you will have to use here when or before, then past indefinite tense. When or before I called him. Hardly had I seen him when or before I called him. Dear learners, you can see here that after as soon as, no sooner had, then hardly had, scarcely had, and the rest of the clause will be in past indefinite tense. And scarcely had is saying when you will use your when or before. You can use your one of them, then past indefinite tense. Dear learners, I hope you have understood it clearly and you will practice this at your home. You can complete it perfectly. If you have as soon as, then you will have to use your comma, then past indefinite tense. If you have no sooner had, you will have to use your when or before, then past indefinite tense. If you had hardly had, then you will have to use your when or before, then past indefinite tense. If you have scarcely had, then you will have to use your when or before, then past indefinite tense. Dear learners, I hope you have understood it clearly. And if you have any problems, then I will give you other example for your practice. So look at the board. I'm going to write more example for you for practice at your home. Okay. Dear learners, you can see here that the blank completing sentence, it started raining. In the second, when the train left. In third sentence, before he left the place. In fourth sentence, when you reached there. In the beginning part of the sentence is blank. So you will have to use here in the beginning, you have comma, so you can use here as soon as, then past indefinite tense. In the second, you have when the train left, so you can use here as soon as, no sooner had, or hardly had. Sorry, no sooner had, hardly had, or scarcely had. You can use in second sentence. Then you will have to use the past participle form of verb. For examples, I'm going to tell you. No sooner had I reached the stations, when the train left. Or you can hear right here, scarcely had I reached the stations, the train left. Or hardly had, hardly had I reached the stations, when the train left. You can use one of them. In the third sentence, like this, as soon as I reached there, he left the place. No sooner had I left there, before he left the place. Hardly had I left there, before he left the place. Same as it is in when we reached there. As soon as I left the place, as soon as he left the place, we reached there. As soon as, or no, sorry, no sooner had I left the place, when we reached there. Hardly had we left the place, we reached there. Dear learners, I hope if you practice this, staying at home, you can complete this easily. Okay, I'm going to give you more examples on other rules. I hope you will practice this because this is homework for you. Dear learners, you can see here more 4 sentences here. He went there in order that, he goes there in order that, she studied hard so that, she studies hard so that. You can see here there are present tense and past tense. Present indefinite and past indefinite tenses are there. And there is also 2 rules on in order that and so that. You'll have to know these rules to complete the completing sentence. Dear learners, I'm going to make you understand now these rules. Yeah, if you have here in order that, and the beginning sentence is or clause is in past tense, then you will have to use the subject then. Could or might if it is present tense, past tense. If it is past tense, now listen. He went there in order that he could or might help them. You can see here that I have used here could or might because the previous clause is in past indefinite tense. And for these reasons, you can take one of them. They can sometimes use could or might. So you have option. Then you will have to use the present form of verb. So I have used here help is the present form of verb. In the second sentence, you can use here he goes there in order that. Then he goes is here present indefinite or present simple. Then you will have to use the can or may. He goes there in order that he may or can help them. I am used here normal or simple sentence says because I want to make you understand it easily, and for this reasons I am going to use your simple sentence. You can see here that he goes there in order that he may or he can help them. I have used here may or can. You can see here that I have used here may or can because this is the present simple sentence. And as it was the past indefinite tense, so I used here could or might. As it is, in the number 3, you can see she started her so that it is past indefinite tense, and for this reason you will have to use could, she, could, or am might, then present form of verb, get a plus. She started her so that. After so that, you will have to use past indefinite tense if the previous sentence could or might if the previous sentence is in past indefinite. Dear learners, let's go to the next sentence. You can see here as it is past indefinite, I have used here could and might. So this is the past present indefinite, you will have to use here can. She can or may get a plus. Dear learners, you can see here she can get a plus. He went there in order that he could or might help them. Second, he goes there in order that he may or can help them. She studied her so that he might get a plus. In number 4, she studied her so that he can or may get a plus. And after can, could, may, might, shall, should, you will have to use. These are called the modal auxiliary verb, and for this reasons, after this modal auxiliary verb, you are bound to use the present form of verb. And if it is present tense, then you will have to use may or can. If it is past tense, then you will have to use could or might. If it is go present tense, I have used here may or can. This past tense could or might. After in order to or and in order that and so that you can use the same rules. Same rules are used for in order that and so that. Dear learners, so yeah, I hope it is totally clear to you. Then you practice this. I'm going to make you understand in the next rules. So you try to listen it very carefully. Dear learner, you can see here 2 sentences. So that we may shine in life, in order that we might earn more. In the sentence, you can clearly see that here. This is the main or may, so you will have to use present form. We work hard. You can write here we work. You will have to use the present form. We work hard so that we may shine in life. You can write here in past tense because there is might. So you will have to use your past tense. We work hard in order that we may earn more. Dear learners, I hope you have understood these rules, and I will meet you next sessions, next day. So you will practice this staying at home. I hope all of you will work hard and you will try to understand this completing sentence. And if you face any problem, please inform me. Bye.